When the cold hits, it doesn't knock, it kicks the door in hard and merciless. And when it does, chaos follows. Shelves empty out, prices skyrocket, and staying warm turns into a luxury most people can't afford. But here's the thing. While everyone else is scrambling to grab overpriced gear at the last minute, you could already be ahead of the game. How? By stocking up on 125 survival tools that are hiding in plain sight at your local Dollar Tree. These aren't just cheap trinkets, they're cold weather lifesavers. From keeping you warm to keeping your devices powered, these budget-friendly finds are the difference between being prepared and being left out in the cold. The kicker, most people don't even think about them until it's too late. So before the next deep freeze turns your world upside down, let's talk about the 9 Dollar Tree items that are about to go from overlooked to absolutely essential. Trust me, when the storm hits, you'll wish you had these in your arsenal. Don't wait until the panic sets in. Get ahead of the cold now. 1 Wool Arm Warmers. The overlooked cold weather shield. Wool arm warmers might seem like a minor winter accessory, but when the cold comes crashing in, they're a game changer. These aren't just for style, they're a tactical layer of defense against the elements. That small gap between your gloves and jacket sleeve, it's a heat thief. Cold air sneaks in, and before you know it, your forearms are freezing. Your comfort is gone and your body is working overtime to stay warm. Wool arm warmers seal that gap, trapping heat and keeping the wind from stealing your warmth. The magic of wool, especially merino or wool blends, lies in its unique properties. Wool insulates even when it's damp, thanks to its natural fiber structure that traps air and repels moisture. It also wicks sweat away from your skin, keeping you dry and maintaining your body's thermal balance. Whether you're chopping wood, hiking through the snow, or just trying to stay warm while sitting still, wool arm warmers adapt to your activity level. They prevent those sudden chills that hit when you stop moving after exertion. What makes them even better, they're dirt cheap. You can often find them for just a few bucks at thrift stores, discount shops, or even Dollar Tree. And their benefits are massive. They're lightweight, easy to store, and incredibly versatile. Roll them up tight, tuck them into your gloves or pockets, and they take up almost no space. Unlike bulky jackets or heavy gear, arm warmers layer seamlessly without adding weight or restricting movement. Here's a pro tip. Double layer them with a thin glove liner underneath. Slide the arm warmer over your jacket sleeve, and you've got a wind-blocking, heat-trapping combo that's hard to beat. Use elastic bands or cuff adjustments to keep them in place so they don't slip while you're working or moving. When the cold really sets in, your arms are doing the heavy lifting, carrying supplies, chopping firewood, or handling tools. Keeping them warm isn't just about comfort, it's about functionality. Warm arms mean better dexterity, less fatigue, and a lower risk of frostbite or aches. Wool arm warmers aren't just an accessory, they're a survival tool. 2. Insulated travel mugs. Your portable heat source. Walk into a Dollar Tree or any discount store, and you'll probably see a row of insulated travel mugs sitting between the plastic cups and water bottle. Most people pass them by without a second thought. Big mistake. When the cold hits and the power's out, that $1.25 mug becomes a lifesaver. Here's why. Insulated travel mugs are built with double-wall construction or vacuum insulation, which minimizes heat transfer. In simple terms, they keep hot drinks hot and cold drinks cold for hours. Some high-quality mugs can keep liquids hot for up to 12 hours and cold for up to 20. In a survival situation, that's like carrying a portable heater in your hand. Picture this. The power's out, the temperature's dropping, and you're trying to conserve fuel. Fill that mug with boiling water or hot tea before the lights go out, and you've got a source of warmth that lasts for hours. Hug it to warm your hands, sip from it to keep your core temperature up, and enjoy the psychological comfort of a hot drink when everything else feels bleak. The best part, these mugs are dirt cheap if you grab them early. A decent insulated travel mug can cost $15, $25 or more at retail stores. But at Dollar Tree or similar discount shops, you can snag one for a fraction of the price. And when supply chains get disrupted or panic buying sets in, those same mugs will skyrocket in price. When choosing a mug, go for stainless steel or food-grade materials. Avoid plastic lids that leak or let heat escape. Always test the seal before you buy. If the lid doesn't close properly, the insulation won't matter. For extra heat retention, wrap a small towel around the mug when you're not using it. The beauty of an insulated travel mug is its versatility. It's lightweight, compact, and easy to carry. It fits in your pocket, your jacket, or your gear bag, without taking up much space. And in a crisis, it's one of the few modern conveniences you'll be glad to have. When the cold knocks out your power and your gear starts to fail, that mug will keep you going. 3. Plastic sealers. The unsung hero of cold survival. Plastic sealers might not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of cold weather survival, but they're an absolute game changer. These little gadgets, whether they're heat sealers, bag clips, or handheld sealers, are the key to preserving your supplies and keeping the cold at bay. Here's the deal. In a survival scenario, every bit of heat, food, and gear you have is precious. A torn bag, a weak seal, or a leaky container can ruin your chances of staying warm and fed. That's where plastic sealers come in. They fuse thermoplastics together, creating airtight and water-resistant seals that ordinary clips or folds can't match. Think about your food supplies. Moisture and cold air are your enemies. A crisp seal keeps damp air out, preventing your food from turning to mush or your seeds from molding. It also helps maintain a temperature buffer, delaying heat loss and stretching your resources further. But plastic sealers aren't just for food. They're incredibly versatile. Use them to patch torn gear, fuse clothing layers, or create custom pockets and containers on the fly. Seal first aid kits, important documents, and medications to protect them from moisture and cold. In a pinch, you can even use a sealer to repair a broken bag or create a makeshift barrier against the elements. The best part, they're cheap. A basic handheld heat sealer might cost $10 or $20 at retail stores, but you can often find them for less at discount shops. And when the cold hits and demand spikes, those same sealers will double or triple in price. Buying one early turns it from a simple tool into a strategic asset. When choosing a sealer, look for one with adjustable temperature settings, a non-stick sealing bar, and consistent sealing time. Test it on scraps first to find the right setting. Too much heat can melt holes in the plastic, while too little won't create a strong seal. For thicker materials like mylar, you might need a more powerful sealer or multiple passes. Storage is simple. Keep spare sealing bars and fuses on hand, and make sure the unit stays clean. Even a tiny bit of dirt in the seam can ruin the seal, and in a crisis, a broken bag can cost you weeks of food. Plastic sealers might not be flashy, but they're one of the most practical tools you can have in your cold weather survival kit. They lock in your resources, protect your gear, and give you the edge when the cold comes crashing in. 4. Static cling window insulation. The invisible heat shield. When the cold creeps in and your heating system starts to struggle, static cling window insulation sheets are a lifesaver you didn't know you needed. These thin vinyl films might look like a gimmick, but they're one of the most underrated tools for keeping your home warm without breaking the bank. For just a few bucks, you can create a barrier that slows down heat loss through your windows, keeping the warmth inside where it belongs. Here's the beauty of these sheets. They don't require glue, tape, or any special tools. They stick to your windows using nothing but static electricity. That means no sticky residue, no damage to your window frames, and no hassle when it's time to take them down. Installation is quick and painless. Clean the glass, mist it with water, press the sheet on, and smooth out the air bubbles. Done. In normal times, these sheets cost anywhere from $5 to $15, depending on the size and brand. But when winter hits and people start panic buying, good luck finding them at that price or at all. The demand skyrockets, and suddenly these cheap sheets are either sold out or marked up to ridiculous prices. While they're not a perfect solution, they're incredibly effective when used correctly. The key is to trap a thin layer of still air between the glass and the film, which acts as an insulating buffer. This slows down heat transfer and keeps drafts from sneaking in. Sure, the static adhesion might weaken over time, especially in humid or extremely cold conditions, but for the price, they're a solid temporary fix. Pro tip: overlap the edges slightly to ensure full coverage, and reuse the sheets next season to get even more bang for your buck. They're lightweight, easy to store, and can be a game changer when your home is losing heat faster than you can replace it. Once your windows are sealed and the heat is staying put, it's time to focus on keeping your body warm. Let's move on to the next essential item that'll keep you functional when the temperature drops. 5. Disposable heat packs. Instant warmth in your pocket. When the cold hits hard, Disposable heat packs are the unsung heroes of survival. These little packets might seem like a luxury, but when your fingers are numb, your toes are frozen, and there's no heater in sight, they're worth their weight in gold. Hand warmers, foot warmers, and body heat pads aren't just for comfort, they're a lifeline. Here's how they work. Most disposable heat packs use a simple chemical reaction. Inside the pack, iron powder reacts with oxygen when exposed to air, generating heat. No batteries, no electricity, just instant warmth that lasts for hours. Depending on the size and brand, these packs can provide heat for anywhere from 6 to 12 hours. In normal times, you can pick up a single pack for $1 to $3. But when the cold season kicks in and people start hoarding, prices can triple and shelves empty out fast. That's why it's smart to stock up early. These packs have a shelf life of about 3 years, so you can buy them in bulk and rotate your stock to ensure you always have fresh ones on hand. The best way to use them, strategically. Keep multiple packs distributed across your gear inside gloves, boots, jacket pockets, and sleeping bags. Activate them before you head out into the cold, so you're not playing catch-up once you're already freezing. For extended warmth, layer 2 packs back-to-back to create a larger heat zone. Just make sure to wrap them in cloth to avoid burns. Direct contact with your skin isn't a good idea. These packs aren't just for keeping your body warm. Use them to protect your gear too. Slip one into your bag to keep your phone batteries or other electronics from freezing. In a blackout or extreme cold, they can even help prevent cold shock by keeping your extremities warm and functional. When the grid goes down and the temperature plummets, disposable heat packs are a lightweight, portable solution that can make all the difference. Once your hands and feet are taken care of, it's time to think bigger. How to keep your entire home warm and insulated. 6. Shrink wrap window kits. The budget-friendly heat saver. If you're looking for a cheap and effective way to keep the cold out, shrink wrap window insulation kits are a no-brainer. For just a few dollars, you can turn your drafty windows into thermal barriers that trap heat and keep the cold air where it belongs outside. In a winter blackout or a major cold snap, this simple upgrade can mean the difference between a livable home and a freezing nightmare. Here's how it works. These kits usually come with a roll of clear plastic film and a roll of double-sided tape. You stick the tape around the edges of your window frame, attach the plastic film loosely, and then use a hairdryer to shrink the film tight. The result: a sealed air pocket between the glass and the film that dramatically slows down heat transfer. The cost? Dirt cheap. You can find these kits for as little as $6 to $10, and one kit is often enough to cover several windows. But here's the catch. When the first cold wave hits, these kits fly off the shelves. Prices double, and the remaining stock disappears fast. If you wait until the last minute, you'll either pay through the nose or go without. Installation is straightforward, but attention to detail matters. Clean your window frames thoroughly. Dust and grease will ruin the tape's adhesion. Apply the tape carefully, stick the film on loosely, and then shrink it with a hairdryer, starting from the center and working outward. Trim off any excess film, and make sure the edges are sealed tightly. While these kits aren't a permanent solution, they're incredibly effective in emergencies. They don't block radiant heat completely, and their seals can degrade in high humidity, but they amplify your existing insulation and buy you precious time. For even better results, combine them with thick curtains or blinds to create a double layer of insulation. Shrink wrap kits are versatile too. Use them on windows, doors, skylights, or any large glass surface that's letting heat escape. Start with the biggest or draftiest windows and work your way down. In a pinch, you can even use the leftover film to seal other areas of your home. With your windows sealed and your home's heat retention improved, you're one step closer to surviving the cold. But the battle isn't over yet. Next, we'll focus on how to layer your clothing and manage your body heat to stay warm no matter what. 7 Plush blankets. The $1.25 lifesaver you'll wish you had. When the power's out and the temperature inside your home starts to feel like the Arctic, there's one Dollar Tree item that goes from nice to have to absolutely essential in seconds. The Plush blanket, at just $1.25. These lightweight fleece-style blankets might not look like much, but their value skyrockets the moment the cold sets in. Most people think they need heavy quilts or expensive electric blankets to stay warm. But in a survival situation, layering multiple Plush blankets can actually outperform bulkier options. Why? Because it's all about trapping air. Each layer of these soft fleece-like blankets creates a pocket of air that acts as insulation, locking in your body heat. Plus, their smaller size makes them incredibly versatile. Wrap one around your core for instant warmth, line the inside of a sleeping bag for extra insulation, or even tuck one into your boots or gloves to keep your extremities warm. You can layer 3 or 4 of these under your clothing to create a makeshift thermal barrier without the bulk of a heavy coat. And here's a hack most people overlook: use them as window insulation. Pin or tape them over windows at night to block drafts and keep the heat inside. You can also use them to seal door gaps or block vents in rooms you're not using, which is a crucial step in zone heating. The best part, these blankets are lightweight and foldable, so you can store a stack of them in the same space one bulky comforter would take up. When the cold hits, you can distribute them wherever they're needed most: on beds, over windows, or around your body. But here's the catch: these blankets disappear fast. Every year, as soon as the first cold snap is announced, they fly off the shelves. Why? Because everyone suddenly realizes they're cheap, effective, and absolutely priceless in freezing conditions. So if you see them in stock, don't hesitate. Grab more than you think you'll need. Plush blankets aren't just about comfort, they're about survival. They're insulation, morale boosters, and heat barriers all rolled into one. And speaking of layering for warmth, let's move on to another Dollar Tree gem that'll keep your hands functional when the cold tries to shut you down. 8. Fleece-lined utility gloves. The hand saver you didn't know you needed. When the temperature drops and icy winds start cutting through the air, most people forget one critical thing: protecting their hands. And yet, in a survival situation, your hands are your most important tools. From lighting fires and carrying supplies to fixing gear and clearing snow, cold, stiff fingers can bring everything to a grinding halt. That's where Dollar Tree's fleece-lined utility gloves come in. At just $25, these gloves might not look like much, but they're a game changer when the cold sets in. They're not the bulky, clumsy kind that make it impossible to use your hands. Instead, they're designed for function. The outside features a rubber grip for handling tools, zippers, or even your phone, while the inside is lined with fleece to trap heat and keep your hands warm. Here's the thing most people don't realize: in freezing conditions, even simple tasks like moving firewood or opening a car door can become painful or downright impossible without proper hand protection. Numb hands lead to mistakes, and in a survival scenario, mistakes can cost you more than just comfort. These gloves give you the warmth and dexterity you need to stay functional. The fleece lining traps heat quickly, even after brief exposure to freezing metal or wind. Keep one pair for outdoor tasks and another tucked inside your coat to rotate when the first pair gets wet or frozen. They're lightweight, easy to layer under heavier mitts if needed, and compact enough to stockpile. And just like the plush blankets, these gloves vanish from Dollar Tree shelves as soon as the first cold snap hits. Smart shoppers know that frozen hands can't perform under pressure, so they grab these gloves before the panic sets in. If you see a stack of them, don't overthink it. Grab several pairs. Your future self, stuck in a freezing car or trying to fix a tarp in 15-degree weather, will thank you. Now that your hands are covered, let's move on to another Dollar Tree item that'll keep your feet warm and your body functional when the cold tries to take you down. 9-foot heating gel packs. Warmth that starts from the ground up. When the cold hits, your feet are the first to feel it. Heat escapes through the ground, and if your feet are freezing, it's game over. Cold feet don't just make you uncomfortable. They drain your energy, ruin your focus, and stop you from moving efficiently. That's why Dollar Tree's foot heating gel packs are a survival must-have. At just $25, these gel packs are often overlooked because they're quietly sitting on the health aisle. But when the temperature drops, they become priceless. Designed to slide right into your socks or shoes, these packs activate quickly and target the most vulnerable area of your soles. Here's why they're so effective. Heat rises from the bottom up. By warming your feet, you kickstart a chain reaction that helps your entire body stay warm. These gel packs are reusable, lightweight, and easy to store in your emergency kit or go bag. Just pop them in hot water or a microwave, and they'll retain heat long enough to get your blood circulating and your core temperature rising. In a real cold weather emergency, whether you're stuck in a freezing house, a stranded car, or a campsite, these gel packs can be the difference between staying mobile and getting sidelined. They're perfect for tucking into boots before heading out, using under a blanket during a blackout, or keeping close for kids or elderly family members who are extra sensitive to the cold. And because they're sealed and reusable, you get warmth on demand without wasting fuel or resources. But here's the catch. As soon as a winter storm is announced, these gel packs vanish from stores. People know that cold feet aren't just annoying, they're dangerous. So stock up now while they're still dirt cheap. Grab several pairs and stash them in your car, your home, and your emergency kit. When the floor turns to ice and the heat goes out, your survival starts from the ground up. Bonus point 10, emergency candles. Light and heat when you need it most. When the power goes out and the cold starts creeping in, one of the most overlooked survival tools is the humble emergency candle. Found in the Dollar Tree's home goods aisle, these candles might seem like a basic item, but they're a dual-purpose lifesaver in a cold weather crisis. For just $1.25, you're not just buying light, you're buying a source of heat and psychological comfort when everything else feels bleak. Here's why they're essential. Emergency candles are designed to burn longer than regular candles, often lasting up to 8-10 hours. That means you can light one in the evening and have it last through the night, providing a steady glow and a small but significant source of warmth. In a freezing house or stranded vehicle, even a little extra heat can make a big difference. But the real value of these candles goes beyond just light and heat. They're incredibly versatile. Use them to warm your hands, melt snow for water, or even heat up small amounts of food in a pinch. Pair them with a makeshift reflector, like aluminum foil or a metal can, and you can amplify their heat output to warm a small area. Storage is another win. These candles are compact, lightweight, and easy to stockpile. Keep a few in your emergency kit, your car, and your home. And because they're non-perishable, you can store them for years without worrying about them going bad. Pro tip: grab a pack of matches or a lighter while you're at Dollar Tree. A candle is useless if you can't light it. And don't forget to place the candle on a heat-resistant surface to avoid accidents. When the grid goes down and the cold takes over, emergency candles are more than just a light in the dark, they're a lifeline. And speaking of overlooked essentials, let's move on to another Dollar Tree gem that can save your skin literally in freezing conditions. Bonus point 11, petroleum jelly. The cold weather skin saver. Petroleum jelly might not scream survival gear, but when the cold hits, this 125 jar of magic becomes a multi-purpose tool you'll wish you had stocked up on. Found in the health and beauty aisle, petroleum jelly is one of the most versatile and underrated items you can add to your cold weather prep kit. First and foremost, it's a skin protect. In freezing temperatures, your skin takes a beating. Cracked lips, dry hands, and frostbite-prone areas like your nose and cheeks can make an already tough situation unbearable. A thin layer of petroleum jelly acts as a barrier, locking in moisture and shielding your skin from the harsh, dry air. But its uses don't stop there. Petroleum jelly is also an excellent fire starter. Rub a small amount onto a cotton ball or tissue, and you've got a waterproof, long-burning fire starter that can help you get a flame going even in damp or snowy conditions. It's lightweight, compact, and far cheaper than most commercial fire-starting products. Another overlooked use, insulation. Apply a layer of petroleum jelly to your feet before putting on socks, and it'll help retain heat by creating a barrier against the cold. It's not a replacement for proper thermal socks, but in a pinch, it can make a noticeable difference. And let's not forget its role in preventing chafing and blisters. If you're on the move in cold weather, the last thing you need is painful skin irritation slowing you down. A quick application of petroleum jelly can keep you comfortable and mobile. For $1.25, this little jar packs a punch. It's lightweight, easy to store, and has a nearly infinite shelf life. Keep one in your car, one in your home, and one in your go bag. When the cold comes knocking, you'll be glad you did. Bonus point 12, aluminum foil, the survival Swiss Army knife. Aluminum foil might not be the first thing that comes to mind when you think of cold weather survival, but this $1.25 roll from Dollar Tree is one of the most versatile tools you can have in your arsenal. Lightweight, compact, and endlessly useful, aluminum foil is the ultimate multitasker when the temperature drops. Let's start with its most obvious use, heat reflection. Aluminum foil is excellent at reflecting heat, making it a valuable tool for staying warm. Line the inside of a cardboard box with foil to create a makeshift heater or reflector. Place a candle or small heat source inside, and you've got a DIY radiant heater that can warm a small area. Foil is also a lifesaver when it comes to food. Use it to wrap leftovers, cook over an open flame, or even create a makeshift pot or bowl. In a survival situation, being able to heat and store food efficiently is critical, and aluminum foil makes it easy. But the uses don't stop there. Aluminum foil can also be used to insulate your body. Wrap it around your feet inside your boots to reflect heat back toward your body. It's not a replacement for proper thermal gear, but in an emergency, it can help you retain precious body heat. Another pro tip, use foil to create a windbreak for your fire. By blocking the wind, you can keep your flame steady and conserve fuel. And if you're dealing with a power outage, foil can be used to improve the efficiency of your lighting. Wrap it around the base of a candle or flashlight to reflect light and brighten your space. Storage is a no-brainer. A roll of aluminum foil takes up almost no space and weighs next to nothing. Keep one in your kitchen, one in your car, and one in your emergency kit. For 125, aluminum foil is a survival tool that punches well above its weight. It's cheap, effective, and endlessly versatile. When the cold hits and you're scrambling to stay warm and functional, you'll be glad you grabbed a roll or three. Bonus point 13. Duct tape. The ultimate fix-it tool for cold weather survival. When it comes to survival, duct tape is the Swiss Army knife of tools. Found in the hardware aisle at Dollar Tree for just this unassuming roll of adhesive is a cold weather lifesaver that can patch, seal, and reinforce just about anything. In freezing conditions, where small problems can quickly spiral into big ones, duct tape is the quick fix you'll wish you had on hand. Let's start with its most obvious use: repairs. Got a tear in your jacket, gloves, or boots? Duct tape can seal it up in seconds, keeping the cold air and moisture out. It's not a permanent solution, but it'll buy you time until you can make a proper repair. The same goes for gear like tarps, tents, or sleeping bags. Duct tape can patch holes and reinforce weak spots, keeping your shelter functional when you need it most. But duct tape's usefulness doesn't stop at repairs. It's also an excellent insulator. Wrap it around the edges of windows or doors to seal drafts, or use it to secure plastic sheeting or blankets over openings for an extra layer of protection. In a pinch, you can even use duct tape to create makeshift insulation for your hands or feet. Wrap it around a layer of fabric or plastic to trap heat and keep the cold out. Another overlooked use: fire starting. Duct tape is flammable, and a small strip can act as a quick and reliable fire starter when you're struggling to get a flame going. Pair it with a cotton ball or some petroleum jelly, another Dollar Tree gem, and you've got a fire-starting combo that works even in damp conditions. And let's not forget its role in securing supply. Use duct tape to bundle firewood, secure gear to your pack, or even create a makeshift handle for broken tools. It's lightweight, compact, and endlessly versatile, making it a must-have for any cold weather survival kit. Pro tip: don't just grab one roll. Duct tape is one of those items you'll always find a use for, and when the cold hits, you'll be glad you stocked up. Bonus point 14. Plastic drop cloths. The budget-friendly barrier against the cold. Plastic drop cloths might not look like much, but these 25 sheets of thin plastic are a cold weather survival tool hiding in plain sight. Found in the painting or hardware section of Dollar Tree, they're lightweight, versatile, and incredibly effective at keeping the cold out and the warmth in. The primary use for plastic drop cloths in a cold weather scenario is as a barrier. Tape them over windows, doors, or vents to block drafts and create an extra layer of insulation. Unlike shrink wrap or static cling sheets, drop cloths are larger and more flexible, making them ideal for covering bigger areas or irregularly shaped openings. But their usefulness doesn't stop there. Plastic drop cloths can also be used to create makeshift shelter. In an emergency, you can drape one over a frame of sticks or poles to create a windproof and waterproof barrier. Add some duct tape to secure the edges, and you've got a quick and effective shelter that'll keep you dry and shielded from the wind. Another pro tip: use drop cloths to line the inside of your tent or sleeping area. This creates a moisture barrier that keeps dampness from seeping in, which is critical for staying warm in freezing conditions. You can also use them to wrap around your body as an emergency windbreaker or to create a makeshift poncho in wet weather. And let's not forget their role in food and water storage. Use a drop cloth to collect rainwater, cover supplies, or even create a makeshift bag for carrying items. They're lightweight, foldable, and take up almost no space, making them an easy addition to your survival kit. For $1.25, plastic drop cloths are a no-brainer. They're cheap, effective, and endlessly versatile, making them one of the best cold-weather survival tools you can grab from Dollar Tree. Bonus point 15. Hand crank flashlights. Light without batteries. When the power goes out and the cold sets in, one of the first things you'll miss is light. And while candles and battery-powered flashlights are great, they have one major drawback: they run out. That's where hand crank flashlights come in. Found in the Dollar Tree's electronics or emergency supplies section, these $1.25 gadgets are a game-changer for cold weather survival. The beauty of a hand crank flashlight is its simplicity. No batteries, no problem. Just crank the handle for a minute or two, and you've got enough power to light your way for hours. In a prolonged power outage or emergency, this kind of self-sufficiency is invaluable. But the benefits don't stop at light. Many hand crank flashlights also come with additional features, like built-in radios or USB charging ports. While the Dollar Tree versions might not have all the bells and whistles, they're still a reliable source of light that doesn't rely on external power. In a cold weather scenario, light isn't just about visibility, it's about safety and morale. A flashlight can help you navigate icy conditions, signal for help, or check on your supplies without fumbling in the dark. And the act of cranking the flashlight can even help warm your hands, giving you a small but welcome boost of heat. Storage is another win. Hand crank flashlights are compact, lightweight, and easy to stash in your car, home, or emergency kit. And because they don't rely on batteries, you don't have to worry about them losing power over time. Pro tip: grab a few. Keep one in your car, one in your home, and one in your go bag. When the lights go out and the cold takes over, you'll be glad you have a reliable source of light that doesn't depend on batteries or the grid.